Hi there, it's Mr. Mike. I'm really glad you came by. A while ago, I heard a story about two guys named Mr. McGillicuddy and Mr. Botchagaloop. It was a really good story. But when I went to tell it to my daughter, she didn't want to hear about Mr. McGillicuddy and Mr. Botchagaloop. She wanted to hear about Elmo and Big Bird. And so I'm going to tell you the story about Elmo and Big Bird. And it goes like this. One day, Elmo was in his house and he decided that he wanted to play with Big Bird. And so he opened up his door and he popped out. Boop, and he closed his door. And Elmo went up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill to Big Bird's house. And he knocked on Big Bird's door. Knock, knock. But nobody answered. And so he knocked on Big Bird's door again. Knock, knock. But still nobody answered. And so Elmo decided to go home. And he went up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill back to his house. And Elmo opened up the door. And he popped back inside. Boop, and he closed the door. Well, later that day, Big Bird decided that he wanted to go play with Elmo. And so Big Bird opened up his door. And he popped outside. Boop, and he closed his door. And Big Bird went up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill to Elmo's house. And he knocked on Elmo's door. Knock, knock. But Elmo didn't answer. And so he knocked on Elmo's door again. Knock, knock. But Elmo still didn't answer. And so Big Bird decided to go home. He went up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill back to his house. And he opened up the door. And he popped back inside. Boop, and he closed the door. Well, later that day, Elmo decided he wanted to go play at the playground on the top of the hill. And so Elmo opened up his door. And he popped back out. Boop, and he closed the door. And Elmo went up the hill and down the hill and up the hill to the playground at the top of the hill. Meanwhile, back at Big Bird's house, Big Bird decided that he wanted to go play at the playground on the top of the hill. And so Big Bird opened up his door again. And he popped out. Boop, and he closed the door. And Big Bird went up the hill and down the hill and up the hill till he got to the playground at the top of the hill and he saw Elmo. And he said, "Elmo, I was at your house and I knocked on your door 2 times, but you didn't answer. Where were you?" And Elmo said, "Oh, Big Bird, Elmo must have been playing with his trucks. Elmo's sorry. But, Big Bird, Elmo was at your house and Elmo knocked on your door 2 times, but Big Bird didn't answer. Where were you?" "Oh," said Big Bird, "I must have been eating my breakfast." And so Big Bird and Elmo decided to play. They climbed up the slide and went down. They played on the swings. They climbed all around. And they had so much fun that they got pretty hungry and they decided to eat some lunch. Well, after they were all full from eating and all tired from playing, Elmo said, "Big Bird, Elmo is going to go home to go to sleep now. Bye, Big Bird." And Elmo went down the hill and up the hill and down the hill to his house. And he opened up his door. And he popped inside. Boop, and he closed his door. And Elmo went to sleep. Well, Big Bird didn't want to play on the playground alone, so he decided that it was probably time for him to go home and go to sleep too. And so Big Bird went down the hill and up the hill and down the hill, back to his house. And he opened up his door. And he popped inside. Boop, and he closed his door. And he went to sleep. And that is the story of Elmo and Big Bird. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time.